Chris.
Hey, what's going on?
What's going on?
Well, come on in, check it out. I got this little transistor radio from a sale. $4 I got it for.
Let me see.
It's a Panasonic, so it's
Okay.
you know, Panasonic is there's people that collect nothing but Panasonic radios. So I sold a Panasonic to a guy a while back, and he's like, if you ever get any more Panasonic radios, let me know. And this guy, you know, if you get a close look at it, it's a little dirty, but actually it's in really good shape. So I'm gonna take it apart. I'm gonna clean it up. You know, the antenna's intact, which is a great thing. So a lot of times the antennas are broken.
That's right.
Right, and you can find sometimes replacements, but it's nice when the antenna's intact. You know, all the knobs are here. I don't see any big scratches or breaks or anything.
Let me come and get a close-up.
Sure, the battery cover is there, so that's
good.
A lot of times the battery cover's missing, so you know everything's here. I just plugged it in. So, the volume knob is stuck.
Let me come around this way.
Right, so I'm gonna have to work on that. But let's go ahead and put it on. Turn it on.
And this was an estate sale find? I wasn't with you this day.
Yeah, this was an estate sale find. You know, it was playing in the basement. I went down there and I saw the thing for $4, and you know, I could probably get maybe $35, $40 for this. I mean, you know, they just don't make or sell these portable radios anymore, and you know, it's great because it runs on batteries. So if you take it camping and you don't have to have any internet access, and you can have, you know, entertainment. You can get news on the AM stations and music on FM stations, and take it with you. So
yeah. I can still picture the radio my grandpa had. He always had a transistor radio on the kitchen counter.
You know, this one's later. This is probably, you know, from the 80s. So it's not like really super heavy, and it's not, you know, super collectible or anything.
Yeah.
But it is Panasonic. It's a good quality radio. And I think once I clean it, did you get a good picture of it? So we'll take a look at it. I'm going to take it apart, like I said, clean it up. You can see that, you know, there's dirt and grime, and it's, you know, it needs a little TLC, right? So you can kind of get a feel for what we're looking at here. And I'll show it to you after I get it cleaned up.
And that's Japan? Panasonic?
Yeah, they were made in Japan.
Yeah,
probably. I'll look at it. Some of them later on came from Korea, but would have been either Japan or Korea. All right, so I'm going to take this knob off, and I don't think these knobs will come off very easily, but I'm going to see if I can pull the chassis out with too much difficulty. Hopefully it comes out pretty easily, and that way I can just really, you know, get this wet without having to worry about getting any of the electronics wet. So, you know, this should probably just pop off. Yeah, and it's, you can see it's dirty, so I'll soak it in a little bit of soapy water, and then we'll clean it up. It'll look pretty good when I'm done. Okay, looks like there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and maybe 5 screws. So I'm going to pull those out and see if this thing pops apart. All right, well, it popped out pretty easy. Those 5 screws came out. Looks like there's this is probably the antenna. It looks like it pops off of here, so I'm going to see if I can pull that off of there. And then a couple of these guys down here, I can't tell if those are soldered on or not. I'll have to get a closer look at it. But if those pop off, then I may be able to just pull this back off. Otherwise, it might be a little bit more awkward, but I think I can still get that chassis out of there. Yep, that guy just popped out of there, so it folded open. So I think what I can do is probably get the chassis and the speaker out without having to desolder any of the connections. So let me take a look at this, and I'll get right back here. Okay, there were, I don't know, 3 or 4 screws that were holding this board in place, and so I took those out, and then this pops out, and then there's some screws holding this next piece in place. I'll take those out, and then I think the whole, and remove the screws that are holding the speaker, and I think all this stuff's going to come out pretty easy. All right, oh, I got it out, so this is now separate. It was a little tricky getting the dial indicator to come out, so I had to actually pop this string off, which I never really want to mess with the tuner dial string, but it seems like it came out okay. So, but you can see these were the brackets that we're holding the speaker in. I mean, they're pretty heavy. So I mean, it's definitely good quality. It's a good quality radio, especially for that era. So I'm gonna clean it up, and let's see what it looks like. All right, so I got just a little bit of dish soap in the sink here. And it's soaked for a little while, and you know, scrub it down, and you can—I don't know if you can see, but the water in there is like really yellow and yucky. So lots of dirt that came off. I'm gonna use a little compressed air and blow the water out of the dial area, and then clean up the back. I did wind up desoldering some pieces just so I can get that back off, because the back's pretty dirty too. But I can't really submerge it because I don't want to take the transformer out. But I think it's going to be a little easier to clean without having the rest of the radio attached to it. So I'd hope to avoid soldering anything, but it's just a couple pieces, so it should go back together pretty quick. So I got the case all cleaned up. I'm going to take a little deoxit, spray it down inside of these switches, work it around a little bit, just a little squirt there, and then where the volume goes, and then work it back and forth. So really it's just, don't need much, just a little squirt. It's probably more than I need, but there we go. And I'll work that back and forth a little bit. Alright, well, I got the parts soldered back together, so I haven't installed it back in. I'm going to let the cabinet dry overnight, make sure it's good and dry, but this seems to be working okay, so that's a good sign. So it's looking pretty clean. You can see the back cover looks super clean. The knob, it's you know, it's got some wear on it, but now at least it's clean. It doesn't have all the dead skin and grime on it. The back cover looks pretty good, and the front looks great. You know, now I can list this, and it's not mint condition, but it's definitely very clean, and I can state that in the listing. So I'm going to put it back together now and test it. One other item to note: this little protector dust cover where the volume slider goes from the front side was loose, and I think that was part of what was making the volume knob stick. So I put it back in place and put just a little drop of glue on each one of those posts there that it kind of mounts on, and that should keep it in place and stop it from doing that in the future.
So let's check in on Chris and see how the radio cleanup project is coming along. Excuse me, my voice is a little crackety today.
Oh, hey, how's it going?
Good. Other than a little creaky voice, I was just checking in on you and seeing how the radio was going.
Well, it went pretty well. You know, I spent probably an hour maybe total, maybe a little bit more, which, you know, I'm not making a ton of money an hour, but I don't really do it, you know, just to make a bunch of money. I really enjoy cleaning these old radios up and getting them back in service and getting it into the hands of someone that's going to use and enjoy it. So that's really why I do it. So yeah, come and take a look at it. It really cleaned up really nice. I think if you remember what it looked like before, and you can look at it now. I think you know, it's quite a bit cleaner than it was before.
It's very shiny. Very shiny. Looks nice.
So it's not new.
Clean.
I mean, it's got some wear on it still, but it's a lot cleaner than it was before. And I can
keeping it out of the landfill.
Yeah, so it's I can turn it on. I think here.
You think that anybody else on an iHeart radio station?
And it comes in, I mean, I don't even have the antenna up, so this is a great radio. I mean, it's pulling in all kinds of stations. Now, unfortunately, the dial indicator, it's one of the hazards of taking these things apart to work on them or clean them, broke. So,
Let me see it.
You know, I'm not too upset. It's like I said, I paid $4.
Oh.
Yeah, that's the dial indicator. It goes here, but the top of it's still there, so you can see. You can still, you know, see where you're at. So functionality isn't really impacted. But you know, I guess if someone really collected Panasonics, and it's not exactly the way it came from the factory, but again, it didn't really hurt the functionality of it.
Maybe it was dry.
it happened so quick, when I was trying to put it back in there, and I wasn't even really actually trying to put it back in yet. I was just getting a hold of it, and all of a sudden, bam, it snapped off.
Yeah.
Again, it's one of the hazards. Sometimes things like that break.
Well,
and rather than try to mess with it and glue it and make a big giant mess,
so tiny.
it's best to just cut bait and put it back together, and that's the way it is now. It's missing the dial indicator, so nothing to cry over.
No.
Small,
And
snafu that happened while I was working on it, but again, not a big deal.
no, and you can see still where the channel is, and people are just really listening for a station, not necessarily searching for a specific.
Cosmetically, it doesn't really hurt it too much,
Yeah.
I don't think at all, and it functionally doesn't hurt it at all, and it's a lot cleaner than it was previously.
Oh yeah, looks
So
great. Looks great.
I think it's I'm leaving this one in better shape than when I found it, but there
Good.
you go. So I'll get it listed, and we'll see if we can't get somebody a new radio.
Alrighty.
Awesome.
Well, wonderful. Sounds wonderful. I guess is that it then?
That'll be it then.
Okay. What are you gonna tell the viewers to do?
Like and subscribe.
All right, guys. See you in the next one. Bye.